Have you ever felt like your future is completely open? Like anything could happen next, and life is mostly unpredictable? Like you're just reacting to whatever shows up? That feeling makes sense. From the inside, life feels messy. Plans change. People surprise you. One small moment can send things in a totally new direction. It feels random. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Your future is probably a lot more predictable than you think. Not because your life is already decided, and not because someone knows your exact next move, but because when scientists step back and look at human lives in large numbers, clear patterns start to show up. And once you see those patterns, you can't really unsee them. Let's start with why life feels unpredictable in the first place. From your point of view, your choices feel personal. You choose when to wake up, what to eat, where to go, who to talk to. It all feels unique, shaped by your mood, your values, your personality. But when researchers look at these same choices across thousands or millions of people, something strange happens. The mess smooths, patterns appear. Most people wake up around the same times every day, they go to the same places, they follow the same routes, they shop at the same stores, often on the same days, buying similar things again and again. Even tiny habits repeat. How often you check your phone, when you eat, how you move through your week. On their own, these habits don't seem important, but together they form what scientists call a behavioral signature. Basically, a pattern of routines that says a lot about you. Once that pattern exists, future behavior becomes easier to guess. Studies consistently show that past behavior is one of the best predictors of future behavior. Not because people are lazy or stuck, but because habits save energy. Your brain likes familiar paths. They're efficient. So what feels like freedom often happens inside invisible limits. Limits shaped by your biology, your environment, your culture, and plain old probability. Now here's what makes this even more interesting. Chaos theory. Chaos theory sounds like it's about randomness, but it's actually about systems that follow rules while still being hard to predict in detail. Weather is the classic example. The atmosphere follows physical laws. Air pressure, temperature, and moisture all obey rules. Nothing about weather is truly random, and yet predicting the exact weather weeks ahead is incredibly hard. Why? Because small differences matter. A tiny change in starting conditions can grow into a huge difference later on. This idea is often called the butterfly effect. A small disturbance now can lead to a big outcome later. But here's the key part people miss. Even though we can't predict the exact weather far in advance, we can predict general patterns. We know how seasons behave. We know climate trends. We know what's likely and what's very unlikely. Chaotic systems are unpredictable in detail, but predictable in shape. Human lives work the same way. Your exact conversation next Tuesday is hard to predict, but the general direction of your life becomes much easier to forecast once patterns are known. Ecosystems work like this, financial markets work like this, and humans, whether we like it or not, are part of these systems too. That brings us to some surprising data. Researchers studying movement patterns found that most people's locations are highly predictable. In some studies, knowing where someone has been before allowed researchers to predict where they'd be in the future with over 90% accuracy. That doesn't mean someone knows what you're doing at every moment. It means most people move within a small set of familiar places. Home, work, shops, social spots. Buying habits show the same thing. People tend to buy similar products over and over. Spending follows cycles. Financial behavior repeats even when people say they want to change. Social behavior is just as predictable. Who you spend time with strongly shapes what you do next. Your friends' behavior can predict your future actions better than your own past alone. If people around you start exercising, you're more likely to exercise. If they change jobs, you're more likely to think about changing jobs. Habits spread quietly. Humans copy without noticing. Even big life decisions follow patterns. When people tend to change careers, when they enter long-term relationships, when they move cities, and when stress peaks. These events don't happen at random ages, they cluster. Culture, money, and biology all push people along similar timelines. Now let's talk about biology, because this is where predictability really settles in. Your brain is a pattern machine. It's shaped by genes and experience. That wiring affects how you deal with risk, routine, stress, and reward. Some people naturally seek novelty. Some prefer stability. Some form habits quickly. Some resist them. These tendencies don't lock in your future, but they gently push your choices in certain directions. Brain chemistry adds another layer. Hormones and neurotransmitters rise and fall in cycles. They affect motivation, mood, focus, and impulse control. That means your decisions aren't random from day to day. You're more likely to take risks at certain times, more likely to withdraw at others, more likely to feel hopeful, tired, calm, or reactive depending on sleep, stress, and health. Genetics plays a role too. Genes don't decide your life, but they shape tendencies. How sensitive you are to stress, how strongly rewards affect you, how easily habits form. These things quietly influence long-term outcomes. Add sleep, food, and stress into the mix, and predictability increases even more. People who sleep badly make more impulsive decisions. People under long-term stress narrow their options. People with stable routines tend to get stable results. None of this means you don't have choice, and it means choice happens inside limits. When scientists zoom out and look at entire populations, life outcomes form curves: income, health, lifespan, education. Most people land near the middle. Fewer reach the extremes. This doesn't mean effort doesn't matter. It means probability shapes opportunity. With enough data, researchers can narrow down someone's likely future more than most people are comfortable admitting. The more data you have, the smaller the range of likely outcomes becomes. That leads to an uncomfortable question. If so much of your future follows patterns, how free are you really? Here's the important part. Predictable doesn't mean unavoidable. Patterns describe what usually happens, not what has to happen. Small changes, repeated over time, can shift long-term outcomes. New routines, new environments, new social circles. These things change the starting conditions of the system. Chaos theory tells us that small inputs can lead to big effects over time. So while your future might be predictable if nothing changes, it becomes less predictable the moment patterns shift. Awareness turns probability into possibility. Your future isn't written in stone, but it's not a blank page either. It's more like a path that curves in certain directions unless something nudges it elsewhere. And that leaves one final question worth thinking about. If your future is shaped by patterns you didn't choose, which small pattern could you change today that might quietly redirect where you're headed next? Comment your thoughts down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there.